Thanks for joining us today. This is Bitcoin Summer News Brief. We got the new backdrop today. I'm super psyched about. Thank you to my producer, Jay. I got my morning muffin thanks to my wife and my coffee, and let's get right into the rip. It's been kind of a slow news week, but I found a couple things that have been interesting, and I'd like to share those with you today. I'm putting this out a day early. That way we can get right into it for next week. As you can see here, Preston Pish, my boy, always holding it down, talking about this fossil here. You know, they're coming out in droves right now as far as letting the mainstream know how much Bitcoin's going to destroy the global economy. Not that these people who are responsible for destroying the global economy are copying to anything. It's that it's now, it's our fault. It's really rich. They're causing global social unrest, the division, and the wealth polarization. That's absolutely right. The central banks have a lot to do with this. And now they're finding their scapegoat in Bitcoin, and it's going to be an interesting battle to see how they're going to combat this, especially here in America. I'm not sure what we're doing delaying the ETF so much, but I think that has something to do with it, regulatory-wise. And we're going to keep our finger on the pulse. This was funny to me. I saw the other day. One of the main arguments is Bitcoin's just too complicated. It is really complicated. Don't get me wrong, and it's the reason why we started this podcast. Bitcoin, there's a lot of different facets to it, but I thought this was so interesting because you take a look at this, and this is how our financial system works right now. Let me tell you a little secret. Bitcoin, far less complicated than this. This is, I don't even know what the hell's going on here. And I sort of understand the fiat system, but this is wild stuff here. So if anyone ever tells you that line, you know what to do. You know where to send them. I thought this was funny the other day, 2 days ago now. You guys got to look out for these rumors swirling around. This is not looking like it's anything that's true. I think it came out on 8chan or something, 8chan, or 8kun, whatever it's called. Now, I work at the BLS, and we just received the CPI data for June. It's going to be in the high double digits, and I think what they mean by high double digits is high teens, because I don't think we would ever in a million years have an 80% CPI rating. So if they're talking about high double digit teens, yeah, that's pretty almost impossible. That's pretty unlikely as well. The market will react badly to that news, but so will Bitcoin. So I don't know what the purpose here is, but we just got to watch out for these. There's a good potential that we are going to have a high CPI rating. It's coming off of last year's numbers. So any rating from here on out for the rest of the year are going to be pretty high. But, and then the central banks are going to try to tell you that it's just transitory and that has nothing to do with anything. And all of this is true. And we are sitting in very high inflation, and a lot of the inflation you can't even see. They're covering it up in the CPI numbers. So even to just get high CPI numbers is crazy because it's a bullshit number. But high teen double digits, if that's what they meant here, I just don't. I'm not buying it, but we'll see. I mean, maybe this is some guy who just wanted to go post on the internet about very hush-hush topics, but we'll see. I'm not counting it out, I guess. So this is huge news. Again, went by under the radar. It's kind of been mixed along with, there's been a lot of, I think, parody accounts mostly, but they've been coming out with so and so is going to buy this, so and so is going to put this on their balance sheet. I think somebody was claiming that Israel is going to put Bitcoin on their treasury. All of this stuff is, I mean, they called it the Federal Reserve of Israel, so that doesn't exist. So we all got to watch out for these rumors online and just ignore all that. Stay humble, stack sats. We need laser focus here, people. Come on. There's actual signal coming out, and this is a big one here. Capital Group, they have trillions under management. They made a huge bet on MicroStrategy, and this goes back to what we've been talking about here at Bitcoin Summer. The regulatory regime in the United States is making it very hard because they're slowing up this. The SEC is slowing up the Bitcoin ETF, the true ETF. So people are going to have to jump into GBTC, which is a trust. It's not an ETF, and it's a little bit more complicated of a structure, and it has very high management fees, especially compared to ETFs. So people are piling into the next best thing is MicroStrategy is basically a Bitcoin proxy at this point. These people jumped almost a billion with a B dollars into MicroStrategy. I think a lot of this stuff is going by kind of unnoticed. And what's going to happen is it's going to create more value for the MicroStrategy stock, especially if Bitcoin starts running up again, and it's just going to create this loop where the owners are going to create a base for MicroStrategy stock, and then therefore MicroStrategy is going to use their rising stock price to buy more Bitcoin, and it's all just going to roll downhill. It's kind of an amazing thing to watch, and I'm here for it. A lot of good news is coming out, but during a correction, I don't believe it's a bear market, but some people are saying it's a bear market. When market sentiment is very poor, we're going to get stories like this that aren't even going to move the market whatsoever. We're going to have these positive stories completely combating the FUD. I didn't dive into this study at all, so I don't know the validity of it, but the studies that have been coming out that have castigated Bitcoin mining and its energy use. I actually have a blog post coming out about the energy FUD, and I'm going to have a shorter version and then a longer version towards the end of the month, and that'll be up shortly on the website. So I've been doing a ton of research on this, and the people who are against Bitcoin energy use are coming out with wild projections about its carbon footprint and its energy use. And so I know that it's biased on the other end, and even if this story was biased, it gets completely ignored. There's not even a dent. There's no discussion about it whatsoever. And I just think it's funny, and it's a true tale of I think a story like this in January or February of this year would have put the price up by at least 2%, 3%. You know, this is really good news. You have FUD on one side of the argument, and everyone's just gobbling that up, but all the refutation of that FUD is completely ignored. It's just the way that it goes in times like these. And in my opinion, we're coming up on another epoch here, and it's gonna start getting out of hand volatility wise. And I believe to the upside, but we'll see. I've been wrong before. So my boy Greg Foss just killing it over here. I'm loving this valuation report here, and people do these valuation reports based on probabilities. And I love these ones because you balance it out with kind of the worst case scenarios. As you can see here, $0 chance of that going to zero is 25%. I think that's a little high even. So I like this because it is on the bearish side, or it's on the conservative side for sure. So we got all of these different price levels and the probability of these prices. And you weigh that all together and you kind of come up with a valuation. And actually, this is a good time to bring up, we're going to have a valuation episode coming up and a subsequent blog post with that as well. That one I'm really, really excited about. We are going to be doing a quick valuation of AMC, a quick valuation of GameStop, and then we're going to do a quick valuation of Bitcoin as well. I'm going to show you my valuation of it, and I gotta give it to Greg Foss for posting this. I forgot who the original Waterloo group who posted it originally, I believe, but it's pretty close to mine, I gotta tell you. So I'm gonna come out with that, and I wrote that before I saw this, and I was just like, oh, that's that's really cool. It's I did a different valuation method, and it came to right around the same number, especially long-term wise. So I'm excited to bring that out. That should be out within the week, I'm guessing. We'll see. I'll announce it on Twitter. So check that out, or follow, subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. All of this is interconnected because I'm doing this blog post on valuation. I'm doing this other blog post on the environmental FUD. And we're also going to be doing episodes on that that'll be out within the month. And it's just a ton of exciting things going on here at Bitcoin Summer. I need people to help me out. Give me a subscribe on YouTube. Give me all the likes that you can afford to give. Please send me an email. That always helps the show. We can include you guys into the next podcast episode. If you have great questions, we're going to definitely include it. We just want everyone to be a part of this with us. We're learning alongside of you, and we would like to hear from you, and it's just only going to benefit the show. So thank you for joining us today on this beautiful July 10th in the Midwest. And from wherever you are, please have an amazing and safe weekend.